Welcome to the Kingdom Minded Mompreneur, where we, Becky
and Monique, your new biz besties, both busy moms just like you.
We're here to talk all things network marketing, mom life, and how to truly live out your calling. We'll be dropping 2 episodes each week to help you, the busy mompreneur, know the exact strategies to build both your business and your home. You'll hear each week from one of the top network marketers on their best tips for what's led to their success and what's working now.
We know that you're here because you are called to something more. You have a desire to succeed in both your business and at home, and we are going to teach you how. If you love what you hear here on the podcast and want to be one of our success stories, join us inside our community, the Kingdom Minded Mompreneur, where we provide a daily social media action plan, additional resources, kingdom coaching, and more. Click the show notes for the link to join. So let's get into the episode.
Hello, friends, and welcome back to another podcast episode. Today, we're mixing it up just a little bit, and you are going to be hanging out with me, Becky Baxter, for a solo episode. So today, I thought I would share a little bit of really just the 5 actions, like very specific things that I believe led to nurturing and running and building this massive team in the direct sales industry, and really what led to an $8 million a year team. And we were on track to duplicate that exact same, those exact same numbers the very next year. So it really was just this culture and community and just very specific things that I can now look back on and say, wow, that one thing that I did consistently, or this, system that I put in place, or, this, phrase or things that I talked about contributed to the organization as a whole. And so I know so many times when I am connecting with leaders in the industry, they are, sharing with me, man, I really wish that I could just take a peek behind the curtain of, a top leader in the industry, and while I would love to sit here and act like, people are just so giving and gracious inside of the direct sales world, there is a lot of competition. And I do think that competition is good, right? Healthy competition. I'm a very competitive person, but I also think there has been somewhat of like a stigma around, well, don't tell that team over there, what they're doing. I mean, I've literally experienced this myself, but also within, people that I was coaching with. They'll say, hey, I asked so-and-so if they could share with me what this one thing is that they were doing. And the person just responded, well, we don't really share that with anyone outside of our organization. And while I understand reasons, behind that to a degree. And of course, if we're talking about like purchasing things, you got to be ethical, right? Like I would never purchase something and then share my login information with someone else. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about in the field, in the same company, collaborating with others. There is so much power in that. And when I was in the industry, we did that. Of course, I did experience, where people were like, oh, we're not going to share this or that. And it is hard, right? When you're really proud of something you've built or created and someone is like trying to, you know, jump in on it, get access. But I am of the mindset that, what you sow is going to be given back to you like times 10, right? It's going to be multiplied. And I just feel like, no matter what you believe, which obviously if you are listening to this, you operate out of a faith perspective. And I know that so much of our journey here on this earth is to serve others. And so one way I always wanted to, I always felt like I wanted people to be, yes, equipped and feel like they have the right tools, but also inspired to take action based on my own journey, to be inspired by what I was able to accomplish, but then say, wow, like she's so generous that she's sharing these things as well, right? So today, as I was doing some reflecting, I really thought about 5 things, 5 actions that led to an $8 million a year team. And while I know there's people out there that have done way cooler, bigger things than me, I am insanely proud of what I accomplished during my time in the industry. And my goal right now, and I know I can't speak for Monique, but we are pretty much on the same page, is that we want to help women feel equipped to not only fulfill the call they have on their life and use the talents that God has given them, but we want them to feel confident to paint a vision not only for themselves, but for their family, for their team members, and that lives will be changed here on earth as well as eternally. And so the best way we can do that is by serving and helping other people get access to the wisdom and the resources and the tools and all of the things that has helped us. So today, the very first one that I think we can all agree is just plays a pivotal role in your success is the vision that you have for your life. That's number one. And I believe that when I look back on, the different, I guess, timelines of my career, if I was to like chunk it into different segments, there is one specific time when my belief was so big in the opportunity in the compensation plan that it was almost like I would talk to them about it and they couldn't not be a part of it, right? It was like I was creating this compelling argument in a sense, right? Or compelling vision for what I not only wanted to create, but the kinds of people that I wanted to take with me, and described it in detail, like painted this picture with words and also borrowing belief from other people's stories, and because of that, and because of me keeping it in front of myself as well as in front of my team, other people began to borrow my belief that I had borrowed from someone else, and it kind of trickled down into our organization. And I made vision casting and just painting this picture of what was possible, a priority. On every single team meeting, I would share like a vision statement of what it was we were working on as an organization. It wasn't like, here are my goals. Here's Becky Baxter's goals. It was, here are the things that we are working on collectively as a team right now. And this is where we're headed. And when you paint the picture like everyone is a part of it, they feel committed and connected. And it also creates this culture of, I want to be a part of this goal. And so I'm going to show up. So it creates an action-oriented, accountability within the organization because people feel committed and connected. And the vision you have for your business and for your life is directly related to the success that you help others have with their business. And what I mean by that is the more people you are able to help through your compensation plan, right? The more leaders that you develop, the more people that you're able to help them visualize how their life can be better as a result of being a part of your company, that is going to lead, right, to your vision coming to pass, your vision becoming your reality. And I experienced that. I did. So I just want to encourage you, if you don't have this visualization of where you want to take your business, you're going to stay stuck. I mean, you are not going to go, you're not going to rank up, your income's not going to increase. You're going to stay exactly where you are and possibly go backwards. So you've really got to gain clarity around the vision that you have for your life and how your business can be the vehicle to help you get there. And so if that's something you're struggling with, I'll talk about it at the end, but we have a program called Multiply 2.0 where we literally walk people through how to clarify their vision, right? Get in the right mindset to help you accomplish that. So I'll put the link in the show notes. That way, anyone that has heard us talk about Multiply 2.0 but hasn't checked it out, now would be the perfect time. Number 2, goal setting. Now, I know there are probably 7 million resources out there online about goal setting. And honestly, like, I can't tell you there's any one right way to set your goals, but I can tell you this. I made it a priority to focus on one specific goal at a time. And when I did that, I would take that goal and ask myself, how will I accomplish blank, right? So, for example, when I was working to get to the executive level, I asked I wrote out the question, how will I become an executive director? And I can tell you guys right now, not only did I take the time to write out 20 different ways that I would become an executive leader, so I was getting really creative. I pinned it to a corkboard that, not where I'm currently living now, but in our, in one of our homes. My office was facing the window, and on the right-hand side, I had a big corkboard, and on it, I had all different kinds of things on it, right? Like pictures. I had pinned my ribbons from conference, different like quotes and inspiring things for me. I had a vision board on there, but I also had that paper that said, how will I blank? So every single day when I sat down to work, I saw the goal, the big goal that I had, and all the ways that I knew would help me get to that goal. And so what started to happen was I would look at that and I would say, okay, I needed, to promote this many, this many leaders, do this, do that, right? And so I started to check them off as they happened. And wouldn't you know it, that every single thing on that list, when I promoted to executive, had been accomplished, had been marked off. And so I got really granular about taking a big goal that I had and reverse engineering and saying, okay, in order for this to happen, in order for this to come to pass or become my reality, I literally need to write out in detail every single thing that needs to happen. I do this exercise. I lead the training inside of Multiply 2.0 called Vision Driven Goal Setting. And that's exactly what I walk you through, is that process that I did to help me reach, several huge promotions and mile markers in my career that many of you I know are wanting to achieve. And I just think goal setting is not enough. You can't just like create a vision board and slap it up on a bulletin board or keep it in your notebook or on your desk. Like, it's not enough to just have that. Now, I think it's important. It keeps us focused on where we're headed, but you really have to take the time to say, okay, well, how am I going to get there? Right? Like, this is all great. And it can be overwhelming too. When you look at a vision board or you do some kind of goal setting and you've got like 27 goals, you're like, I want to do this and I want to do this and I want, right? And there's nothing wrong with that, but something that I've noticed is like, I'm not ADD or ADHD, but I think in general, I perform at my best when I'm focused on one thing. And there's a lot of studies around that, right? Like, I think it takes like the average adult 17 minutes to transition from one task to another. So like, that's why in the workday, batching your work is like really important. And so the same thing when it comes to goal setting. If you make a specific goal your priority, I think you will be really surprised by how far you can get when that is all you focus on for a season. Number 3, daily discipline. You guys, let me just tell you, okay? This is the biggest piece that some of you guys are missing. And I know it is so hard to hear. Like, it is so hard, especially if you're walking through a hard season or your schedule is just really wonky, or you're like, I don't even know what to do every day, how to show up. And I just want to encourage you that the small mundane actions that you're showing up and doing every day, that is going to be one of the biggest differentiators in how far you get in success, right? Like if you think about an airplane, if the pilot changes the course by 1 degree, just one simple degree, they can end up thousands and thousands of miles away from their original destination. I think that is such a powerful analogy because people feel like they really need to have mastered 72 things before they can get to their goal. Or I'll work on blank when life slows down, right? Let's be honest, it's not going to slow down. Or I will invest in this program when, I get my tax return or when I get that bonus or whatever, but something is always going to come up. And instead, I want you to think about with your business, what is the one thing? If you were to change one thing, I'm not saying go out and change every habit that you have or go out and try and do a 72 page, like marketing plan or, implement all these new ideas. I'm not saying that. I'm saying pick one thing from your list, right? How will I blank? How will I become an executive leader? How will I lose 20 pounds? How will I pay off $12,000 of credit card debt, right? Whatever it is. What is one thing, if you were to do it every single day, would make the biggest difference? And so for me, the discipline that I had was I knew that if I had a very consistent show schedule, because I was in the party space, and if I had a very consistent virtual party show schedule, and if I was making connections and having conversations, that would lead to A, more bookings, and B, new team members. And so that was like the non-negotiable of my business. I mean, I had to be disciplined enough to do it every single day. And now, would there be days when I didn't do it? Yes, of course. Would there be time frames when I was able to put in more energy or more effort or more time? Yes, of course. But overall, there were a couple of things that no matter what, I was so disciplined about it that, I mean, there was never a time in my career when I wasn't paid at the leadership level. Like there just wasn't. I was very consistent with my business. I was personal sales, I was always like top 1%, team sales, same thing. And so I'm saying that to say, some of you guys already know what to do. It's just you need to work on your discipline muscle. And as you develop that muscle and it builds, it will become a habit. These actions will become a habit. And then it won't be like, oh, I have to do my contacts. It'll be like, oh, cool. I get to do my contacts, or it'll just be part of your life. Like no one's like, oh man, I have to brush my teeth every day. No, they just do it because it's a habit. It's just part of your life, right? It's a daily thing. And that's the place that you need to get to with your business in order to, continue to grow or at least create some momentum that is consistent. Number 4 is I really believe during my time in the industry, I created a movement. And I don't say this to be like haughty or to say like, oh, I was manipulative or tried to, make people do anything. It's not that at all. It was that I was so passionate about what the business opportunity had done for me. And I wanted everyone to experience it. I mean, I really, truly did in my heart. And I still am so passionate about it. It was life-changing for me. And, I feel like when you are so sold on something and passionate about something, and you can see the benefits for yourself, and you're just like, man, I really want other people to experience this. And you begin to talk about it. It's like everything just catches, right? It catches on fire. It creates this like snowball effect. And I really believe that's what happened. I mean, I can think about even pre-COVID, before the pandemic, when everyone's business, not everyone, but a lot of people's online businesses exploded and took off. But even before that, we had something truly magical. I can look at pictures from conferences and leadership things, that myself and like leaders on my team attended. And it is so many fond memories that I can look back on, because I know that while it was not easy and it took a lot of hard work, we were building it together. It was never like, the Becky show or, it wasn't even about any one person or even like one trip, incentive trip or one thing. It was just about this common bond that the majority of us had. I will say, go as far to say the majority of the people on my team were women, and mothers. And we all had this bond of, I know I was made for more, but what does that look like as a mom, and like wanting to be present at home and still have, financial blessings and abundance and freedom and have something for my own, and it was just an incredible season of my life, one that I'm so proud of. And I just want to encourage you, if you feel like you are blessed by your opportunity or by your products or whatever it is that you're trying to get people on board, you have got to have the belief that it is life-changing. Because when you do, you show up differently. And the way I showed up was that I knew what I had to offer would change someone's life if they were willing to allow it. And so because of that, people bought in, people wanted in. They saw my vision. I was helping other people accomplish really big, cool things and then multiplying myself, which brings me to number 5. And that is that I duplicated myself. And another, I would say, passion of mine was developing leaders during my time in the industry. And I feel like I keep saying that, but obviously that's what this episode is about. During my time, I received an award that was like called Founders Award. To many of you, that means nothing, but to a lot of you, some of you might know that it means that you were in the top 5 in the company in that area. And so there were 2 years in a row I received a Founders Award. I think I was number 4. I think I was number 4 both years. I don't know. I feel like one of the years, I can't remember if I was number 4 or number 3, but anyway, I digress. I was in the top 5. So I think I was like number 3 one year, number 4 one year, but in developing leaders. And it is because I loved helping people learn how to do what I had done. And because it just had blown my mind, the income I was making. And, it was like all that hard work that I had put in, the time, the energy, the consistent efforts, the daily discipline, the goal setting, the vision boards I had created. And I just kept thinking, this is the year, this is the year. And 4 years later, I became an executive leader and then went on to go to the very top of the company, national executive. And I think what I loved the most, though, was helping the people on my team who were leaders already get to that higher level of leadership. Really began to, like I said, multiply and duplicate myself. It's that place of, I can impact so many by myself, right? But with others, my impact drastically increases. And I think that is why Monique and I, when we came together and we were developing our program Multiply 2.0, why we were so drawn to this concept of recruiting. And not just because I was a really good recruiter and she had coached some of the top people and helped them master this art as well, finding these business builders, but because we have seen the impact that it has had on so many people and the blessing that it has, and giving someone this opportunity and just really access to everything that gives you like this multiply effect, right? We call it the multiply method. Like giving someone access to these tools is life-changing. It really is, because just imagine, you are one person. And if you find, let's just say hypothetically, 8 people who all see the vision. They see what you have to offer. Just imagine if all 8 of those people then went on to recruit, 8 more. And then those 8 people went on to recruit 8 more. I mean, can you just imagine the impact that your decision to go all in could have on the lives of those around you? I mean, it's just crazy. Even now when I'm like watching some of the people from afar that I'm still friends with on Facebook or follow on social media that were on my team before, it's just so beautiful to see, how they have changed or grown or blossomed as a person, the things that they're, doing and have accomplished as a result, right? And it's just an incredible thing too, to think that I would have never met that person if it wasn't for my business, and even taking it further beyond just the money and the blessings, but also your connection with someone when it comes to building a business. You may be the very person that brings them to Christ. You may be the person that someday you get to heaven, you see them in heaven, and you're like, hey, cool. And they say, hey, thank you so much for leading the way you led and showing up the way you showed up. And I believe that you're, really truly the best way that you can grow your business isn't just through a bunch more sales. Now, I know like everyone has to have a certain number of sales, but it's really through learning how to build a strong team and multiplying yourself. I mean, that's it, right? Like ultimately, when you learn to cast a vision and get people to jump in the boat with you, you can go a lot faster, right? If you're in a canoe and you're by yourself, or if you're in a boat and you're by yourself and you're trying to row that boat, you're not going to go very far. But if you have people that get in the boat with you and say, hey, I want to go where you're going, and you all start rowing in the same direction, just imagine how much faster you're able to go and how much further you're able to go versus if you're doing it by yourself, it's so exhausting. And so Monique and I created Multiply 2.0, and I'll put the information in the show notes because I really believe that every skill that you need to multiply yourself to increase your impact and your income is inside of this course. And you guys, you can get your hands on it for only $497. And those of you that are listening to this, a lot of you might not realize this, but we used to sell this for $3,000. That is how good it is. People are getting results. It is incredible. Inside, you master how to use social media to brand yourself and to find your business builders, how to create a compelling vision to attract leaders, how to inspire the current people on your team, right, to take action, and how to onboard with confidence, as well as creating a team culture and community of excellence and growth. And so if this is something that you're like, now is the time, the year is not over, you still have so much time this year to accomplish all of those big, bold goals that you placed on that vision board back in January. And I just want to encourage you, the people that have implemented this are having incredible success, have had incredible success. We had someone add 24 people to their team in 1 month. On average, people add 8 people in the 12 weeks that they go through this program. And to top it off, Monique is actually going to be doing a 12-week accelerator. So not only will you get access to the course and all of the modules and the training and resources that go with it, but you're going to get an exclusive invitation if you enroll in Multiply 2.0 before, let me see the date. I'm like, y'all, I should already know this. If you enroll before, I think it's June 1st, if I'm saying it correctly, then you're going to get an invite to a 12-week accelerator where she is going to be coaching you guys, live coaching every single week for 12 weeks. I mean, that is crazy. Okay. So don't miss out on this opportunity, because this might be the very piece that you're missing and have been spinning your wheels trying to figure out what is it, what are the things that I need to be doing? How can I, find those people to build with me? Like, where are they? Right. And so we want to invite you to enroll today. Don't miss out on this insane opportunity, insane discount. I mean, we're still like, we can't believe we did that. Take advantage of it. And just know that your business and the success you desire is not dependent on your upline, your downline, even your company and the incentives they offer. It is dependent upon you. Cast the vision for your life, set the goal, reverse engineer it, then become super disciplined so that you will create a movement to duplicate yourself.
Thanks so much for listening to the Kingdom Minded Mompreneur. If you loved what you heard today, could you stop and give us a 5-star rating and review? It helps our visibility on podcasting platforms so others like you can hear more of this message.
Also, if this episode encouraged you, we would love for you to pass it along to your own biz bestie and anyone else who could benefit. Lastly, don't forget that if you want to hang out with us just a little bit more, join us inside the Kingdom Minded Mompreneur community. Click the link in the show notes. Bye for now.